Good evening, Dr. Gupta. Good evening, sister.
Good afternoon. Good evening, Ashok sir. Good evening, Bhavna ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Ashok Gupta sir, can we start the program? Bhavna ma'am is going to take care about the session.
Okay. It is 5 p.m. now. You can start.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bhavna ma'am, start now.
Okay, thank you. With permission of all the distinguished persons, I am starting the program. So, Satya Nasti Parmo Dharma is an ancient Sanskrit saying that can be translated: there is no religion higher than truth. Central to both science and spirituality is the seeking of truth and grasping the essential nature of reality. The goal of science is a complete understanding of the fundamental principles underlying the physical universe in all its diverse forms. Spirituality is the awakening of wisdom concerning how we effectively relate to each other and to the world. Science seeks to enlighten our minds, while spirituality seeks to awaken our hearts. Each is necessary for a full fruition of the other. A very spiritual and scientific evening to one and all present here. I, Bhavana Sangamnerkar, would like to take privilege to welcome you all on the third day of the Student and Faculty Development Program of RFI in association with St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies, Indore. So without further ado, here I would like to invite the distinguished personality of the world of education and spirituality, Dr. Sister Alice Thomas. Therefore, to introduce Dr. Alice Thomas, I would like to call Dr. Chetna Dubey. Chetna, madam, please.
Thank you so much, Bhavna ma'am. Dr. Sister Alice Thomas, a renowned educationist and an eminent scholar with more than 3 decades of rich experience in this arena of education and research, is presently the principal of St. Paul Institute of Professional Studies, Indore. A dynamic leader, kind mentor, superlative communicator, exceptional counselor, expert faculty, and organized manager. She has dedicated herself wholeheartedly in developing a student centric environment to optimize learning experience at SPIPS. Dr. Sister Alice Thomas has been the principal of SPIPS since 1st March of 2017. Her illustrious career spans over 30 years. She started her career as a faculty member at Mercy College, Palakkad, Kerala in 1982 to 1984. She joined Vimala College, where she was elevated the post of head of the department Stat 6 in 2011. She again worked with Mercy College, Palakkad, as head of the statistics department, owing to her zeal, unwavering determination, and hard work. She was later appointed as the principal of the same college and rendered her services from 2013 to 2016. So here I would like to call upon our dearest sister principal, Dr. Sister Alice Thomas, along with Dr. Sarita Rana. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chedana ma'am. So, Sarita Rana, ma'am, please share my PowerPoint. Okay.
Yes, sister. Okay, sister.
So, my grace is sufficient for you. With this word of God, I implore the blessings of the Almighty on this program and those who are hearing this program. The topic is the role of science and spirituality for a fulfilling life and harmonious society. I concentrate on the role of scientific values and prayer. Science is one of the most important channels of knowledge. It has a specific role as well as a variety of functions for the benefit of our society. Creating new knowledge, improving education, and increasing the quality of our lives. Science should respond to the needs of the society and global challenges. Science needs a value system. Science and spirituality are to be harmoniously interrelated. This will to overcome problems of humanity, nature, and society. Additionally, it would lead towards a better life, ensuring that the growth and development of science is in line with the development of man and nature. Both science and spirituality focus on the same object, namely our human nature. Spirituality understands nature as the science of God's domain, whereas all the researchers in science are focused on nature, including human being. Spirituality and prayer have been closely related with healing and calming of mind. Prayer since ages is being done for getting good health, for relief from illness, and also the last resort to the ever increasing complexities of life. Many instances speak about the doctors urging the people to turn towards God and prayer for the ultimate recovery of their beloved ones. Where medical science ends, the work of prayer begins. The doctors too believe in some supernatural power. Many renowned scientists have remarked that the more they get deeper in science, the more their belief on the existence of supernatural power increases. Prayer and spirituality has the power to resolve unfriendly relationships, poor organizational climate, and aggressive work settings. Complementary nature. The complementary relation is more evident in terms of methodology of both science and spirituality. Spirituality commands man to read nature as in observing and scrutinizing it so that man may know and be convinced of God's domain and thereby raise his level of piety towards God. Hence, in fact, man is doing scientific activities, for science uses the same methodology of observation, scrutiny, and experimentation on nature. The main scientific values are attentiveness, courage, curiosity, honesty, humility to evidence, meticulousness, objectivity, hard work, generosity, and perseverance. Science aims at truth, so does spirituality the absolute truth. Some illustrious examples. Words need a lot of courage. Think of the courage with which lockdown, mask, PPE kit, sanitization, and simple medicine were introduced and executed during the recent pandemic COVID-19. The courage and attentiveness with which scientists meticulously experimented with the deadly virus in the laboratories. Their perseverance produced positive results for the rescue of the humanity. They are praiseworthy. Think of the hard work and generosity of the scientists. For example, remember Dr. Varghese Kurie, the father of India's White Revolution, Dhavala Viplava. A champion of the small farmer, Mr. Kurian was instrumental in creating a national milk distribution grid in 1970s that turned India into world largest producer of milk and dairy products, a feat enormous financial and health implications in the society. Naming him as an icon of Indian cooperative movement and dairy industry. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh said in his long and industrial career, Dr. Kurian set up Anand models of cooperative dairy development and engineered the white revolution. At present, when farmers are agitating and killing themselves, one simply wishes to have an incarnation like him to save them and our country. In India, in late 1960s, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, a plant genetist, helped to design and lead green revolution, Harida Viplava, a huge development effort that in just a few years brought food self-sufficiency to India, which had suffered from deadly farmers for decades. Green Revolution was an effort to increase agricultural production in India through a package of industrial agriculture technologies such as hybrid seeds and use of advanced technologies. The Green Revolution resulted in a record gain out of 131 million tons in 1978-79. This established India as one of the world's biggest agriculture producers yield from unique farmland improved by more than 30% between 1947 and 1979. With the increase in farm production, the earnings of the farmers also increased and they became prosperous. There was a drastic reduction in the imports of food grains. Searching together for truth. In science, 10 by definition is a malleable and perfectly revisable thing. This is because scientists compile data into models of how natural systems work. The strongest scientific evidence is compiled into conscience, which we take as our empirical truth. The world of the unseen, unlearned, and unknown has forever entranced human minds. Imagine the delight of the first creature to wield fire on the end of a stick, suddenly able to illuminate features in the darkness. Scientists enjoy a similar feeling when, for a brief moment, at the microscope or analyzing fresh data, they are the only source in the world to know about a new discovery. They are motivated by dreamlike addictive thrill of pioneering through the uncharted phenomena that govern our being and our universe. But they also understand that absolute truth about nature is fundamentally out of reach. As the brilliant physicist Werner Heisenberg eloquently explained, we have to remember that what we observe is not nature in itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning. The search for truth in science calls to mind the parable of the blind monks examining an elephant. Most versions of this parable end with the monks comparing their findings only to discover that they have different conclusions about the nature of the beast. Individual researchers are like those monks. Truth may elude them. So, one must be careful in depending on science for truth. Here comes the need of prayer. The significant role of prayer. Human beings are very much limited in all dimensions, at the same time having infinite capacities. To bring out those potentialities to the full, the best method is prayer. Prayer is a way of being and a way of relating. Prayer is a way of being in the moment, being present, being open. It is a way of learning ourselves. Prayer is a way of relating to God, to ourselves, to those around us. Prayer brings harmony in one's life. Prayer is one of the pathways to the divine presence. There is great power in prayer. Prayer gives you comfort in pain, answers you want from God, and heals a broken spirit. In prayer, we intercede for others. That is how we help someone else. Prayer can repair an emotional wound. At its core, prayer is a system that can meet public's need. And it is the prescribed method of maintaining spiritual well-being. Prayer is a means of communication. It is and has always been God's desire to share His thought with us, His promises, and His guidance. If you desire to communicate with God, prayer is necessary. Living in harmony. Harmony in music is the beautiful, fleeting occurrence that most singers and musicians work their entire lives to continuously experience. It requires diligence, patience, humility, and unity between people pursuing the same goal of making beautiful music. And when the musical harmony is achieved, it touches not only those singing or playing, but everyone listening as well. Living in harmony with one another in everyday life is not too different than musical harmony. For most of us, it is a target just as elusive and fleeting. But like musical harmony, it produces joy and life in those who pursue it and touches those around them. In the Bible, New Testament, Romans chapter 12 says, live in harmony with one another. Do not be haughty, but associate with lowly. Never be wise in your own sight. Repay no one evil for evil, but give thought to do what is honorable in the sight of all. If possible, as far as it depends on you, live peacefully with all. Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, vengeance is mine. I will repay, says the Lord. To the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him something to drink. For so doing, you will heap burning coals on his head. Romans 12 teaches that harmony requires humility, grace, pursuit of peace, not fighting for our own justice, and blessing those who hurt us. If we obey this command, it will lead us to abundance of joy, peace, and purpose we are created to experience. So, spend time in God's presence, that is in prayer, allowing Him to fill you with the desire and ability to pursue harmony with others. Pursue unity with those people God has placed in your life and experience transformation in your relationships as God wants through you to produce unity and joy. Prayer is a way to personal fulfillment. When you pray from your heart, you tap into your most authentic self. You are able to get to the heart of a matter. You are able to honor the power of a moment. The most amazing thing about prayer is that you become familiar with your most authentic self, fostering spirituality through meditation. Spirituality can be a very enjoyable experience. Spirituality is not something that we do. Spirituality is a way of being that comes from living a heart-centered and soul-liberated life. Hence, it is better to make prayer and meditation a normal part of one's daily life. Prayer is my opportunity to pour out my heart and to invite the divine into the affairs of my life. Prayer always centers me, and I always come out of prayer changed in a profound way. Prayer is a remarkable, touching experience for humanity. More importantly, prayer is the most powerful agent in transforming a heart. Meditation is a powerful practice that will revolutionize your life. Meditation forces you to stop and slow down. Meditation always refreshes me, and I have discovered some of the most remarkable revelations. Sacred wisdom is revealed in those quiet times. Hope is restored. Vision is repaired. Meditation is one of the greatest healing agents in the world. Meditation allowed me to break through all the barriers and truly opened up my heart. The loudness of life slowly ceased, and I found myself living more consciously. In other words, I found myself living more focused and fulfilled. The spiritual vacuum that so many are experiencing in their lives can never be satisfied with vanity. Prayer and meditation synchronizes your life and bring you to a place of substance. Mahatma Gandhi says, prayer is the greatest binding force, making for the solidarity and oneness of human family. If a person realizes his unity with God through prayer, he will look upon everybody as himself. There will be no high, no low, no narrow provincialism or petty rivalries in the matter of language between Andhra and the Tamil or Karnataka or a Malayali. There will be no distinction between a Hindu or a Muslim, a Parsi, a Christian or a Sikh. Similarly, there will be no scramble for personal gain or power between various groups or between different members within a group. The outer must reflect the inner. If we are in tune with God, no matter how big a gathering, perfect, quiet, and order will prevail. Even the weakest would enjoy protection. Above all, realization of God means freedom from an earthly fear. So, as a conclusion, God does not come in person to relieve suffering. He works through human agency. Therefore, prayer to God to enable one to relieve the suffering of others must mean a longing and readiness on one's part to labor for it. The prayer is not exclusive. It comprehends the whole of humanity. Its realization would thus mean the establishment of the kingdom of heaven on earth. The results recommended that prayers for others should be employed selectively as it is multidimensional and contributes to a profiling of well-being. It is imperative that prayer should be regular and not done as a custom and duty. The paper concludes with the understanding that prayer is the answer to many temptations, difficulties, misfortunes, dangers, deaths, and losses. The real art of prayer is taught by God Himself as He draws the soul to Himself through prayer. As the final analysis, It can be concluded that whether a person may be strong or weak, warm or cold, young or old, educated or uneducated, wealthy or poor, all are heard. Prayer is also a form of communication with the divine power, and it is beneficial to deal with wide variety of tasks. Science, values, spirituality, and prayer are the various dimensions of a person's life. Each is important and cannot be neglected. Thus, there is a need to balance them in order to have a more harmonious life. Thank you. God bless you all.
भावना मैम, आपका माइक म्यूट है। भावना मैम।
Hello, am I audible now?
यस मैम।
Yeah. Very good, dear sister. Spirituality and science are interrelated harmoniously to each other and to the world, where science is the most important channel of the knowledge, and spirituality is an inner journey to discover inner peace and is all about expanding our capability to live, love, and learn. Prayer is one of the pathways to divine presence. Thank you very much for your holy words and knowledgeable words, dear sister. So, at the outset, let us contemplate on science and spirituality, which are not antithesis, but they are two wheels of the same card, or they are two faces of the same coin. Science deals with the physics and spirituality deals with the spirit. One deals with the material and other with the spirit. One deal with the visible and other with invisible. Our today's second eminent speaker is sharing the same feeling with her views on the topic importance of spirituality in science. To introduce Dr. Monica Manstantonio, I would like to invite Professor Tanisha Dalal. Tanisha, madam, please.
Thank you, Bhavna ma'am. A very good evening to everyone present over here. I feel elated to introduce our eloquent speaker of the day, Dr. Monica Mastrantonio. Dr. Monica is a visiting professor in the University of York. She is a very humble and caring person who always has the best interest of her students at heart. She is a professional researcher in the field of time and humanities and possesses a keen eye and talent in the field of research. Apart from this, she is also a consultant and an author and has been writing under the pseudonym of Margaret Stewart. She is a very courteous, humble, sincere, and an extremely considerate person. Monica, ma'am, we feel elated to have you here and we are eagerly waiting to listen to you and be enlightened by your knowledge. Thank you for coming, ma'am.
Well, thank you all for this invitation and to share a little bit of our research and reflections upon science and religion and spirituality we are saying here. I think you are all hearing fine, right? Just to make sure. I'm going to be a bit provoking in terms of reflections and to make us think further on not only in the consensus parts of those both aspects, but also in the conflict that we have among these parts in our lives and also in society. So we are born in a we are born in a society, and when we are little, we learn things through our families, culture, community, and moral aspects. So we basically are not born out in the vacuum. We are born into a system of beliefs, faiths, relations, explanations. So people tell us like, oh, you should eat this, you should not eat that. So you should pray in the morning, or you should not have a shower, or you should go to a shower before praying, or whatever habits and customs each of these societies have. They all differ. And we have many religions and many forms of living these differences. Of course, when we get together, like students exchange or going to college, we start questioning this system. But the first part in our lives, we don't really question. Our parents and the people around us say, oh, you've got to do this. Oh, you can't eat this. And then we just follow the habit. So this must be done, and we do it. But there's always a crisis within ourselves in some point in our lives that we start questioning, is there really, does it make any sense? Does this help? What am I doing this? Oh, these other people are much happier, and they are not doing these things that I am doing. So this is, I say, it's together with a system, we also have the questions and the crisis. And I think the term spirituality comes to try to make things easier, because religion is a very conflicted issue in the world nowadays. We can't just say, oh, we are all in peace, because we are not. So many of the wars, many of disruption in the world comes because of differences in religion, in the system that we use to organize the world. So spirituality tries to unite them. But is this possible? Does it help? Why? So these are some of my questions. So I think it's a way that we are trying to find to communicate through diverse religions. So it's a path that humanity had to create. And then, of course, we have the other world that we get into, that it's science, philosophy, education. You go to school, and I do recall my first time in college when I had a biology. It was the study of the animal behaviors in psychology course. And the teacher wrote very big in the board, on the board, like, God is that. And we are going to study animals, because by studying the animals, maybe we can understand mankind, and maybe we can understand the good part which lives in us. So that's also conflict. Okay, when you start studying and getting deep into that, who am I? What am I doing here? What is the universe? Why do we have black holes and everything? Is there any intelligent life somewhere else? We don't know anything. I mean, we don't have the answers. And of course, we can create the answers, but we still do not know for sure. So that's another thing. So I told you I'm going to be a bit provoking, but I think we are going to advance a lot from that. So we have Richard Dawkins saying that at the same time, the existence of God should be questioned, and And we should, but at the same time, there is scientific proof we should treat God and our beliefs in the same system as in science. And there is some kind of knowledge that says there is some intelligence part in all the universe that is playing with it, that makes everything fits in. And we should use the same question system and methods of science to understand this spirituality, to understand our beliefs. So that's another thing. So we are looking at religion with the glasses of science. Although there are, again, some very big differences. So in terms of science, what science deals with and what religion deals with. So we have one system all based in cumulative knowledge that we can question and say, no, this is all wrong. Like just yesterday that I read, we are doing the PCR exam, but not all the PCR exams get the new strain for COVID-19. So all our previous knowledge, like the one that we've been following for the past 1-2 years, is being questioned, and we will have to fill it up with other scientific measures and knowledge. And religion, at the other side, is things that we believe or we don't believe. So it's more in the, we cannot say, oh, I've seen, you can say, I feel better through meditation. I feel more peaceful. I feel more connected. But we cannot, we try to measure sometimes and using the scientific measures, but it's not all the time measurable. Like you feel, you had a meditation and you had many insights. I'm going to get there. And you had lots of connections between your past, your future. You decided to change your life. And this kind of belief, knowledge, change of mindset, how does it connect it with other people and your inner self? So this is just to put some more, let's say, content into the debate. And the spirituality I see as a in-between, a way to possibly connect science and religion. And I think this is all what we are thinking and reflecting today. So at the same time, science has, through this method of observing, experimenting, testing, risk testing, and a way of looking at the world. I always like to think at the same time that maybe our science and our methods are not ready yet to grasp, to understand all our spiritual connections and beliefs. Maybe we don't have the apparatus to fully understand these other things that should be measured through other systems, because we all know we have 10 dimensions. Our methods are based in our dimensions, time, space, and the dimensions that we can see through our sense. But there are many other dimensions like let's just say, I'm going to get to there through Bergson's and the intuitive self. When you don't know how you know, but you know, like, you should not, and you tell your son or daughter, you should not go out tonight. I have a bad feeling about it. And then you tell your child, and then he or she does not go out, and then something bad happens, and then say, oh, I just knew it. But actually, this that we refer as a spiritual thing, maybe it is something physical, but maybe you paid attention to certain hints of physical things that you are not precisely conscious of. And this gave you this answer for you to do. So there are things here that I still think we need new methods and new ways of looking and understanding. So that's it. Here, I'm going to propose 4 models to relate science and religion. There are some of them that see the conflict into them. Some of them see there is a dialogue between them. Yes, we can talk. Some of them are going to integrate and say, no, they can combine, we can combine them. And some of them will say they are independent systems, and maybe they are not connected right now, but maybe one day they are going to be connected. So here, just some thoughts about that. Richard Dawkins is precisely into the conflict. He says, science is different to religion, so they do not talk. There is a conflict into that. Copernicus would say that there could be a dialogue. We need, when we see the planets, you know, just standing in the air without falling, this is the manifestation of the faithfulness of a loving creator. This is something that we can precisely describing. There should be a creator into that. Galileo, and you see he was against all the Roman Catholic Church, saying, oh, the system, the solar system is like this and everything we know. And so it's not always possible to conciliate these thoughts. Is there any life after death? There isn't. Do we come back many times? Does it make sense to come back many times into life? I'm going to stand all this still, okay? I'm going to put aside. I don't know. I just say, I have no idea. I just have my experience, and I'm going to focus with you on that. So, and there are other possibilities like Joel Bokenborn. So they can be interconnected. We have many people from faith who are also into science. So they could be different systems, but we are individuals. They are made by us, and we live these contradictions, these differences, these diversities within ourselves. Sometimes we have more conflicts, other times we have less conflicts. But when we see somebody, you know, into war, in what is happening in Myanmar, people, as the photo, we were all deeply connected when we saw the nun on her knees praying for the military government not to shoot the other civilians. This is another act that we have to believe in us. And that's something in humanity, in what we can do, and how much we can change, and the power that lies within us, and that we can do better. I'm going to get to that. And I'm going to use Bergson because I've been studying more into this concept that he brings into science and philosophy, into La Durée. La Durée is the verse of Einstein's time. Einstein's time is, it's not the chronological time. Bergson's time is how we make sense of the time that we are given. So I'm going to show you all we have, each one of us, is a period of time. That's life. That's living. We have, it's like an amount of time that is given in our hands. And what we do with it, this is our being. So La Durée is the connection between the rational self, the intuitive self, and the spiritual self, this self that is all connected into each one of us. Art, I'm adding art to make things even bigger. Science, art, religion, and the state, which we are all deeply influenced by. So Gandalf and I love this sentence, in J.R.R. Tolkien, the Lord of the Rings, says, all we have to do is to decide what to do with the time that is given to us. So this is the duration from Bergson. And each one of us is going to, there's a lot of people telling here is about to find our purpose in life. And that's how we make sense of our living. But I think it's not only to find our purpose in life, but to make this time meaningful to us and to the ones we care the most. Do you understand this? So it make this time meaningful. I'm here now. You say, Monica, I could be traveling, reading, sleeping, but I'm here. I'm here right now. I'm so grateful. But because this is meaningful to me, it's meaningful to share and to be connected and to other people and different people from other parts of the world. And why not, even if there's the possibility of other galaxies anywhere, it makes me feel human and that we share like the same struggles. That's where I'm going to get. So for Bergson, we have a creative evolution. We create ourselves. I create this, what I'm going to do with this time that is given to me. Okay? And this unit of measure that makes my life worth or not is done individually. It's a mix of perception, memory, what we are doing with our reality, okay? And so I can't evaluate, judge another person's life because I can only see from my own body and perspective, from my experience, my memory, and everything else. So I cannot say, oh, this is right or wrong for anybody. I'm going to jump to another thing that is going also to make us reflect a lot. It's a theory in psychology. I think some of you might have heard about it. Is this cognitive dissonance. It is this. It's how beliefs are born. Okay, I'm going to understand how we create a belief. How do I believe into something and not another thing? And they did this experiment. They and they found out that people create this kind of illusion to make them to struggle less, to find some kind of meaning in life that apparently has no meaning. So Fessinger gave $1 to a group of people and 20 to another group of people and said, oh, look, they all knew. The one that got $1 knew that the other ones were getting $20. Okay. And he said, oh, did you like the activities? Then you might say, oh, Monica, the ones that got $20 said they like it more. No, the ones that got only $1. They created beliefs and they said they were enjoying the activity much more. Oh, it is lovely. I'm just getting $1. It's ridiculous. I'm getting nothing, but it's such a wonderful experience. They were creating this illusion to make sense and to not, I would say, not to feel stupid, because they were saying, why am I doing this if I could be getting $20? So we create explanations for ourselves to justify things that are not easily explained. So we believe what we need to, and we create beliefs so we don't disrupt. So the beliefs are a knowledge that we create, so we don't get depressed and don't just go mad, because if we think deeply, it doesn't make sense. Many of our things that we live, it doesn't make sense to have one state killing the civilians. It's not rational. Okay, so we start creating beliefs so we don't go just nuts. So this is the cognitive dissonance. Okay, so we seek harmony. We create a system of harmony, okay, when we experience psychic discomfort. And nowadays, because it's all so unbearable and discomfort, like with the pandemics and everything, we seek more harmony. People are doing more meditation. They are trying to create some kind of explanation. They believe in conspiracy theories. Why? Because they are trying to make sense of what's going on, because it doesn't make sense. So this is important even for us to understand why some people believe some things, why people vote in certain politicians, which is not rational, instead of others. So they say that feelings end up having more weight than evidence, than facts. So, so we are drowned by cognitive biases, and so we don't experience the uncomfortable things. Or through art, I'm going to get to that. It's a way to make sense of this discomfort. It's also a way to create meaning towards the things that have no meaning. So nowadays, art has been a system that we also need to reinforce, because it's a way that people are using to express and not just disrupt. And for Bergson, there's more thing, and I think we should bring to the debate as well. Our moral, our values, our moral obligation from the individual towards humanity. Because sometimes we call this religion, but is it...
Excuse me, Monica ma'am. Monica ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to be ending, okay?
No,
So
Monica ma'am, your screen is not running according to what you are speaking. It is stuck on one screen only.
No, I think we can clearly see her moving. I think it is appearing fine to many
Yeah,
others.
it's stuck somewhere. Yes.
But now it's okay.
Now? Yes?
It is good.
Okay. Sorry, but I'm going to hang on. But I'll go a bit faster here. So so you understand I wanted to put these contradictions and paradox. So so when does belief supplies knowledge? So we start believing instead of going rational. And sometimes we do that, especially when we are under stress, disruption, and this kind of problems that humanity is facing nowadays. Okay. This is another thing that I was going to put one more thought for you.
Your screen is not sharing, Monica ma'am.
No. Okay. I don't understand why. Is it now? Is
No.
it? No. Okay,
No.
hang on. Okay, I'm going to stop and go again, okay? But, okay now?
Yes, now it is okay. Yes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so now I'm making a parallel here between Vygotsky. Vygotsky, he tries to understand art and humanity and how we develop our our process of development, and especially important in education. So he sees that a child goes into childhood through all the steps that civilization has gone in through our development. So first, we don't know how to speak, then we learn language, we communicate using language, and here I'm going to make a parallel a little bit with Piaget and things that sometimes when we are very young and you don't see the mother and you don't see the explanation, we look for the concrete road to find it. You know, like the child needs to see the mother to, oh, my mother is there, to feel relieved. And as we grow, we become more independent and we can theorize, and you can say, oh, my mother is at the other side of the world and everything is fine. So it's the object permanence concept. And here I'm going to make a parallel with the concept of God and religion. When we are young, or maybe what we see nature, and nature is religion, because it's all part of us. We are nature, the animals, the plants, the whole world, the whole universe is part of it. And if we dissociate ourselves from this world and becomes totally abstract, so we can theorize about it, but there's a disconnection with this. And because of this disconnection, we also find it sometimes more difficult, and we have to create more moral obligations and everything, and the whole system of religion, in order to make us respect each other and respect nature, which should be inside us because it's part of us. Okay, so this is a parallel between the history of civilization and the way we relate it to nature. And now that we destroy nature because we see it as dissociated from humanity, when we need to integrate this and see that we are, this disruption creates this missing object that we try to find somewhere else, maybe even in Mars, the crypto coins, and we create many things. We are creators of anything we want. But our, let's say, first connection is with nature. I'm going to go, hang on. Oh God, it's not this. And I'm going to jump some slides. I can share all this with you. And Bergson has this concept of static religion. Static religion, and Bergson and Curry, is it's the way that it's the idea of spirituality is a narrative. It's the fabulations, the way we create meaning, purpose toward each other and towards civilization. Okay, and this has no, this is a story. It's similar to storytelling. And then he's going to understand religion as different storytellings. We have Hinduism, Christianism, Buddhism, and we have all the diversity in religions, because they are explanations of the world, and they are fabulations and a way of creating myths and explanation and explaining what we don't know. And this gives individuals purpose, meaning, confidence that protects us and make us wake up the next morning feeling energized and better and say, oh, let's make it a better world, even though we look at the news and say, no, we are not making any better world. I think we are going backwards. It's not possible. It's not. When we see the nun, I said, no, I'm sure we are going backwards. But then we look at a flower or something, we fill ourselves with confidence and joy and say, oh no, let's go for it. Let's try it a little longer. And we are here alive in this brief or longer or whatever you feel it. I always think we should do the most within this time that we are given. And so people think, oh, why do you do so many things? Because I'm living la durée. It's the only thing that I've got. It's the time that I was given. Nothing else, nothing. It's the only thing that I'm sure I can, at this moment, holding my hands. I don't know the next. I don't know about the past because everything changed, but it's this moment here. And into this, although we see this timing as not only the outcome of all the influence of the past, but also the possibility of the unexpected. And this is a different relation to time and issues. It is this feeling that although there is no rain in the desert, there's no rain, there are flowers in the desert. So this is the contradiction that I'm showing to you and that there is in the world. But at the same time, this contradiction, which is part of us, it helps us. We don't need to take the contradiction out of the world. It's precisely because everything is contradictory that there are flowers in the desert. And that I can believe that we are going to get out of this COVID thing. I do believe. They say, Monica, I say, it is getting worse every day. Every day I read the news, it's something new and new strains and things are getting worse. But I do believe in the unexpected. Something is going to happen. Somebody, somewhere, something they are going to find and say, wow, that's how Marie Curie created something. And it's basically science, intuitive, and all the selves that lies within us. Somebody's going to say, bingo, I got it. And we are going to be out of that. We've been in bad problems before. And somehow, somewhere, somebody out of the blue got all of us out of that. So this is this movement. I have one, I'm not sure, but it's just 3 minutes movie that's called Faith. It's beautiful. I'm going to ask if I can share with you. I'm not sure if it's going to be on, but if it is, it's beautiful. Let's see if it goes. It's 3 minutes only, and then I'll be quiet. Can you see? Can you see, Sarita and everybody? Just
Yes, Monica ma'am, yes.
it's beautiful. You are going. It's just. I don't have many answers. I have more questions than answers. It's for all of us. Okay, so this is my message. Let me get back to you. And I think, yes, this is what I wanted to show and share. I'm sorry, not many answers, more questions than answer, but thank you so much.
Thanks, Monica ma'am. The movie was really wonderful and informative. I believe that we are born within a system of beliefs, faiths, relations, and explanations. Thank you, dear Madam Monica, for your words of wisdom. We are really fortunate to have such an occurrent personality among us. Thanks a lot. Next, sharing her view on spirituality and science, I would like to call the third eminent speaker, Dr. Manisha Pandey, and to introduce her, I would like to invite Dr. Swati Singh. Swati, madam, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This topic that this way that harmony and humanity through science means to be practical, logical, and rational. and spiritual as well. A balance between two is necessary. Very beautiful topic and really very much relevant, interesting and vast topic. And I believe that such topics can be handled only when a person has a vast knowledge, thorough knowledge. So we have one of the eloquent orators amongst us, Dr. Malisha Pandey. Most welcome, ma'am. And let me introduce her that she is an associate professor at Renaissance University, co-chapter head Indore at RFI. She is state convener Chhattisgarh at RFI and vice president Assam. A very little but very big introduction of her. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our proposal, for giving your consent. God bless you, and we are really eager to listen to you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Swati ma'am. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Swati ma'am. Thank you very much. You explained very nicely. But I'm a learner, a student, and seeking new knowledge always. Anyway,
okay, fine.
It gives me immense pleasure to have an opportunity in this international platform. For this virtuous opportunity, I'm very much thankful to the St. Paul's College of Professional Studies, Research Foundation of India, the principal, Sister Alice Thomas, Dr. Saurabh Jain sir, Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta sir, Ajay sir, Manish sir, Dr. Dear Sarita Rana ma'am, all staff members of St. Paul's, all team members of RFI, and all dignitaries present over here. First of all, congratulations to all of you to organize such an admirable program. Really, it's a marvelous job. After a nicely explained topics by Sister Alice Thomas and Monica ma'am about the role of science and spirituality is the pacifier of religion, I would like to talk about how science becomes religion when applied to sustainability. Science and religion are not separable approaches. We cannot explain religion without science. Science actually gives us answer that how the things happening, but religion provides us the way to the action. Science is the skeleton of body, whereas the religion is the muscle and skin of body. With have muscles and covering skin, we look beautiful, but without a skeleton, we do not have a standard structure. Means, if science provide us a consistent and sustainable structure, then religion made this world beautiful through ethics and moral values. Science is beads and religion is thread. Without this thread, we cannot make a garland. And what is garland? It is the ecosystem in which all living and non-living things, organisms are interconnected, interrelated, and interdependent each other. But unfortunately, we often misunderstood this relationship of science and religion. Actually, we misunderstood the word knowledge. We misunderstood the term science and technology. Some of us are thinking that science and technology is different from religion. They think that if they want to appear as well equipped with the technology, then they should become materialistic rather than religious. But religion is the methodology to act and react with technology and towards technology. When science develops the sustainable technology, then religion will act and also react as the garland of these entire biomes. And the ecosystem will maintain itself automatically. Now the question is, what is sustainability? What is the actual meaning of sustainability? Sustainability is the study of how natural systems function, remain diverse, and produce everything it needs for the ecology to remain in balance. It also acknowledges us that human civilization takes resources to sustain our modern way of life. There are countless examples throughout human history where a civilization has damaged its own environment and seriously affected its own survival chances. So, sustainability takes into account how we might live in harmony with the natural world around us by protecting it from damage and destruction. We now live in a modern, consumerist, and largely urban existence throughout the scientifically developed world, and we consume a lot of natural resources every day. But we forgot the way to consume. And what is the way? Religion. That is, in what way to consume all natural resources. And what would be the result? What is the result? The result is Corona, COVID-19. The organism who consume us after our death, we are going to make practice consume those organisms. It breaks the food chain of our ecosystem, which create a new virus, that is Corona. Now the problem of this virus is how to adjust itself in food chain, where to adjust itself in food chain, because the position of this kind of organisms, microorganisms, is either in the beginning of the food chain or in the end of the food chain. But unfortunately, by the misunderstanding of role of science and religion, it is in the mid of food chain. Now the problem is to be resolved only with the correction of the way to the implementation. Now, by increasing immune system, we are trying to push this virus in its real place in food chain, that is either bottom or the top. There is no any other way, and increasing immune is what? Increasing immune is go sattvic, go green, and less consumerism. Science also explained us about the importance of sunlight, the wavelength of the sunlight, and visible and non-visible wavelength of sunlight. The sun, it's a sustainable source of energy, but religion gives how it should be utilized so that this world remains sustainable. To give water, to dedicate water to the sun as a part of worship of the god sun. This is the way, the methodology to assimilate its good wavelength, that is only infrared, by filtration of a medium, that is water medium, by making a prism, water prism. And this infrared wavelength initiates our ergosterol present in our dermis of skin to make vitamin D for our skeleton. This is called the mixture, the interdependence of science and religion. Science also explains us that renewal of natural resources takes thousands of years, and religion make it possible by giving the theory of least consumption and life without materialistic approach. This approach gives us religion. Religion gives us this approach, that is spirituality, in which eternal development of soul occurs. And what is this soul? No one might have seen this soul, but science proved it. It is present in our body. The pineal gland in center part of our brain, which is very small in size, just like a rice in shape and size, situated in mid of the brain, the third eye of the body. Science says this is the third eye of the body, the organ of intuition. Science reveals, science explains the organ of intuition present in so many organisms, not only in human, not only in human. So it is present in so many organisms, even in human also. When we consume least and remains unsatisfied, this gland, this pineal gland, make adjustment of feelings and judgments at night. Science itself describe all this, but religion gives us the way to implementation, that is to be sattvic, grow as a sattvic, then you will be satisfied always, because you least consume the natural resources. Automatically, natural resources will get less consumed and also get sufficient time to get renewed. Science also reveals that fermented food increase the level of aggression, hormones, that is testosterone, and religion gives us the way to be sattvic, so that the level of this hormone, that is testosterone, goes down. That is full of calm with the intake of fresh food, because fermented food create aggression, because creating this kind of hormone in higher level, which is not required. Pineal gland is the major source of melatonin hormone. It appears that the function of melatonin is to mediate dark signals and provide night information, a hormone of darkness. It balances the all kind of testosterone and all the hormones, all the chemical things. It balances all the chemical of our body, which are responsible for aggression, which are responsible for emotion, which is responsible for senses in our body, which are ultimately responsible for many unsocial activities. Fortunately, again, our religion tells us the way to implement and go with the spirituality, that is early to bed, early to rise. When we do not move here and there at night, there is no chance of any unsocial activities and crime. And in morning, our all emotions, all good and bad thoughts will settle down, and we remain with a good human characteristics in the morning. But this pineal gland is comparatively less active in human. Again, science reveals the other organisms are also creature of God, because it is extraordinarily active in other organisms, in birds and cattle. We should have respect and care for them. This reveals that we should have respect and care for those organisms, as they are also the part of this ecosystem. They are not inferior than human. Actually, they have more eternal power. They understand our science, they understand our language, but we cannot them. But the person who increases his spiritual power actually activate his or her pineal gland, and then other animals, birds get attracted towards them. So this is religion, which increases our scientific methodology, which increases our power. Many religious beliefs arise from universal modes of thought that have evolved for reasoning about the social world. We are sensitive to science of agency, which explains the animism that grounds the original religion of the world. We are naturally prone to infer intelligent design when we see complex structure, which makes creationism more appealing than natural selection. We are intuitive dualists, and so the idea of an immaterial soul just makes sense, or at least more sense than the notion that our minds are the products of our physical brain. I'm having another example. When science work with sustainability, then working procedure of religion will enhance the sustainable social structure. You might have learned in biology and zoology about the cell division. There are two types of cell division in our body: to growth and to produce same kind of offspring. For the purpose of growth of our body, there is mitosis type of cell division, in which mother cell splits in two daughter cells of same chromosomes number, that is 23 pair of chromosomes in each cell. With this method, we will grow till an age, that is our growth age. But in reproductive organ, there is meiosis type of cell division occurs. Since it evolves to create same kind of organism, same kind of species, same kind of offspring, so that earth will be ongoing for an unlimited time. This is the spirituality. Means mother cell, it splits into daughter cells, which consist unpaired 23 chromosomes. They are unpaired chromosomes. After fertilization of both male and female unpaired gametes, it will become again 23 paired chromosomes, and a normal offspring will generate. Now, how science explains this meiosis in both male and female body, and how it is important for religion. In male body, this meiosis occurs after puberty age, that is approximately 14 years of the male child, puberty, adolescent age. But science explained with very much scientific research and findings that this meiosis occurs in female body not after puberty, not after 14 years of female child age, not after adolescent, but it is in the age of 2.5 months old female fetus in her mother womb. When she has not yet born in the world, she has not come out of her mother womb. She is only 2.5 months old fetus. That is called in Hindi brood. 2.5 months brood. She has capacity to divide meiotically her reproductive cells. Can you imagine the number of gametes? 2, 20, 200, 2000? No, not at all. She has the capacity to generate million eggs, million gametes. When she is inside her mother's womb, she is not born yet. She has time to get born about approximately 5 months. She has the power to give birth an entire population. Then how religion is not right when say that worship a small girl child, save a small girl child, as they are the Jagat Janani. Religion makes the way to safeguard these children, that is Kanya Pujan, so that it can create a psychological mindset to save them for all society. So this is the religion, how it saved, how it helped the science. Now with this correlation of science and religion, I would like to conclude we have to frame our scientific approach just to provide a way to religion is art of living with the tools of science. Science is a specific knowledge about phenomena. Religion is utilization of that specific knowledge to perform, to sustain the world, to sustain the ecosystem, to sustain the society and all resources. Science makes an RNA structure of earth, and religion makes it beautiful through its moral value, through its ethics, and through its spirituality. Thank you so much again for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, St. Paul College of Professional Studies. Thank you, RFI. And thank you all present over here to listen me patiently. If you want to ask any question, I will love to answer.
Yes, anybody wants to ask any question? Yes, thanks, Manisha, madam. I agree that spirituality is about integrity. It helps us to find meaning in life, provides
Thank you.
of values to guide us in the way we behave with self, others, and the world around us. Spirituality is the science of human growth for self-transformation and also for world transformation for peace and purity. So science becomes religion when applied to sustainability. So thanks a lot again, Manisha ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Now, as we all know, done is better than perfection, and efficiency is doing the right things at the right time. So, dear audience, I know that you are thinking what I am saying so. These all are the management thoughts, and now I take pride and honor welcoming Mr. Hitesh Chandel, a management motivational guru, for his concluding remarks for the session. Mr. Chandel, please.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for this regular gesture to give me an opportunity to give some concluding remarks on the various topics being discussed. So today I would like to say that the light and sound show of the God Almighty comes from transcendental zone, which means it is running 24/7. So when it is running 24/7, we need to become a receiver who can receive that 24/7. And that can only happen if we grow ourselves to our space element and go beyond that. At the space element, you all know that we are made up of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. So if we remain cognizant of our space element, we will be able to see the Akashvani, that is the continuous sound coming from the God. And when we even transcend the space, we will be able to see the light show of the God. And when we say light show, it means getting enlightened. So all these features are built into our human machine. We just need to know the process to achieve that, arrive there. So my, again, recommendation to everyone is, we are given an equivalent to God human machine. So it is up to us whether we are utilizing it fully or underutilizing it. So learn the process, be there, be in the light and sound of the God all the time. And one of the speaker was talking about meditation and prayers. So we need to understand that we need to continuously be in communication with God. And when we pray, we speak to the God. And when we meditate, God speaks to us. So we need to keep the two-way communication with God. Both prayer and meditation should be our continuous effort. Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, sure, Chandel sir. I agree that if we remain cognizant, we will be able to hear Akashvani. So we have to learn, live, and love always. Thank you very much for your remarkable support and your generous gesture with us. Now,
Thank you.
now to adhere the session, I would like to call Professor Dr. Arvind Jain to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, madam. So, good evening, one and all present here. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. Therefore, here, I, Dr. Arvind Jain, must be thankful first to our God Almighty. Here, I wish to express my deep sense of gratitude to our honorable speakers for the today's session of this student and faculty development program. The principal SPIPS, Dr. Sister Alice Thomas, Bio Monica Mastrantonio, and Dr. Manisha Pandey for their excellent and informative address. Then, I would like to propose hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Saurabh Jain, Chairman RFI, Dr. Ashok Gupta, CMD RFI, and Dr. Ajay Jain, President Central India Board RFI. My earnest thanks goes to Director SPIPS Reverend Father Simon Raj and Principal Dr. Sister Alice Thomas for providing this opportunity to enrichment of the faculty and students, and also for the perfect logistic support and guidance extended to all of us at this occasion. Next, I would like to express my sincere thanks to our Dr. Ravi Vyas, Dr. Saita Rana, and Professor Yogiji, who put their extra efforts to make this session a very successful event. I thank you all for joining this knowledgeable session. Once again, thanks to all.
Thank you very much, Arvind sir. So when a team of dedicated individuals makes a commitment to act as one, the sky is the limit. Thanks Team RFI and SPIPS fraternity to give this opportunity to anchor such a successful program. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Now over to you, Sarita ma'am.
Thank you, Bhavna ma'am. And I really would like to thank you, our dearest pillar, Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta sir, Dr. Saurabh Jain sir from Research Foundation of India. They are the one who really agreed for the nice session. They are the one who always, Ashok sir especially, thanks a lot. We are very grateful to you that Mr. Chandel is always here to give concluding mark. Thank you, Hitesh sir. Thanks a lot. Thank you, audience, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok sir. Now could we wind up for today's session?
Yes, yes. Okay.
Thank you, Ashok sir. Thanks a lot, Saurabh
you,
sir,
thank
Team
you.
RFI. Thank you, Yogi sir. Thank you always. And thank you, everyone. Good night. Take
Good
care,
night.
everyone. Good night.
Thanks to all.